All right, let's get over now to Bernie Kerik, former New York City Police Commissioner. Also, he was intimately involved in Iraq right after the Iraq invasion in 2003. Bernie, great to have you with us.
Thanks, John.
We often talk about police stuff, Bernie, but people might forgot that you were in Iraq right after 2003. You know this part of the world very well, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about the formation of ISIS after the failed withdrawal from Iraq by President Obama and how we got to where we are right now with ISIS-K in Afghanistan. There is a through line there. But we'll set that aside for a second, actually, because I want to get your take on what's happening at the airport right now. You obviously know what a situation is like. This is certainly different than New York City. But what is happening at the airport right now? What do you think the U.S. military is trying to do to at least get things stabilized where they can get things running again?
In all honesty, John, I don't know if they can get things destabilized because the leadership is so horrendous. It's beyond my comprehension. I strongly believe that President Biden should be removed from office. I mean, what's happened in the last 2 weeks is outrageous, and it's only going to get worse. They have no control. We're negotiating, and this is the words of the Biden administration. They're negotiating and coordinating with the Taliban. The Taliban is a terror group.
Right.
That's all they are. They're a terror group. And even if they've taken over Afghanistan, we should not be in any circumstance coordinating, negotiating, communicating, dealing with the Taliban, period. The Americans should get out of there. They should be out of there. They should have been out of there 2 months ago. If they knew this was going to happen, if they knew they were doing this, the withdrawal was coming down to the end, the president should have made an effort to remove every American before things got to this level. And the bottom line is what we're seeing today is not going to be the first time. And as soon as these guys realize that they can get away with this, it's going to increase, just like it did in Iraq, just like it did in Syria, just like it did in Afghanistan before. It's going to continue.
So what you're saying, Bernie, is, as long as we're there, this is going to continue. What do you think the proper response should be? Guy Reschenthaler was just saying there should be airstrikes right away. Do you agree with that?
I agree, and I think, my fear is the same that he has, and that is that we don't have the right leadership in place that understands that and that can pull it off. The bottom line is they have to be sent a message that you hurt one of ours, we kill 1,000 of yours. That's what the message should be, and I promise you, they're not afraid of that. They're not afraid of President Biden and this administration. If they were, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, the pace of the Taliban retaking Afghanistan definitely accelerated here in the spring. And, we were just talking about this as well, Bernie. There seemed to be a message yesterday coming from the State Department, maybe perhaps seeing the way this is affecting them politically. The decision seemed to be to blame the Americans who are still in this country. I played Tony Blinken before. I think we have another soundbite from Jen Psaki yesterday as well. Do we have that, guys? Not yet. Okay. We talked about the Tony Blinken one. Do you think that's them trying to play a game of CYA here?
Yeah, of course, John. Listen, if you listen to the president and his press secretary 3 days ago, John, 3 days ago, they were saying there was no problems. They didn't see any issues. Everything's going to be okay. It was bizarre then. I want to see what they're going to say today.
Yeah.
What are they going to say? This didn't happen?
Well, I'm reminded of, when you say that, I'm reminded, unfortunately, of President Biden saying that was 4 to 5 days ago when they were talking about the Afghanis falling off that transport plane. Do you think this is the last time we hear about a suicide bombing before the deadline withdrawal?
No, absolutely not. And I think it's going to increase. We're not dealing with anything different here than we did in Iraq. Think of the early days in Iraq, from June of 2013 up until September, the middle of September, October, when I left to come back home. Those things increased substantially, right? You're going to have the same thing here. And where there's Americans, American targets. These are easy targets for the Taliban. They're easy targets for ISIS.
Yeah, we're seeing video from, I believe, earlier today of some of the transport planes leaving the Kabul airport. We do not have any indication right now as to what the status of the evacuation flights are. We did have a live feed established at the Kabul airport earlier today. Of course, it's dark there now, but we were seeing planes leaving, and it almost seemed as if the pace of the planes leaving was quickening, as you might expect, even after these first reports of the bomb surfaced. And we also saw yesterday, Bernie, we saw several reports from intelligence agencies, not just the U.S., but also around the world, that there were credible reports that this would happen. And they, obviously couldn't stop it. That was what we saw the State Department sending out that tweet last night, telling everyone that there was an imminent danger here. But again, given the amount of people gathered at the airport, this made this a prime target for a terror attack like this one. It was not a question of if, but when, really. And again, I'll ask you the same question I asked Guy Reschenthaler. We keep hearing this administration tell us over and over again that they plan for every contingency. And if they plan for this one, we don't know what the plan is, obviously, because it doesn't look like there is any plan right now. We haven't even heard from anybody from the Defense Department or the Pentagon yet, or the White House.
John, you can't hear. You can't hear. You can't even hear from the president. The president won't take a question, for God's sakes. And listen, here's a problem that nobody's talking about right now. They're shoving all these people on these planes.
Yeah.
They're shoving all these Afghans on these planes. We have Afghans, we have Taliban that's been taking passports of Afghan Americans in Afghanistan. I promise you, we are basically dumping a bunch of people that despise this country. We're going to be dumping them back in this country. That is one of my biggest fears right now. Who's vetting the people they're bringing back? How are they getting vetted? Where are they going when they get here? Who's going to monitor them or track them?
Yeah, that's another thing, too. We hear the State Department, and also this is, again, a message we've heard from the White House. They have called this, and they're referencing the numbers of people evacuated here, one of the most successful evacuation efforts of all time. But you make a very important point, Bernie. And yesterday we talked about a Pew Research poll that surveyed Muslims all over the Middle East and Southwest Asia, including Afghanistan. And 99% of the Muslims in Afghanistan that were surveyed in that Pew poll said that they believe Sharia law should be the predominant force, guiding force in their lives. And, look, these people may believe that, and they may be, peaceful Muslims, but, we can't assimilate people from Mexico coming in this country. The resources are not available. They are forming their own communities. They are being let in down there. And now we have this, which is another humanitarian crisis, Bernie, and you're not the only one who I believe is concerned about that. Certainly not.
You know what, John? We are 20 years out from 9/11. And nobody knows more than I do or better than I do what happens when you let people into this country that despise it.
Right.
We've got people coming in at the borders, and now we're going to have people, thousands. We're going to have thousands of Afghans coming into this country that are not vetted, no clearance, nobody to monitor them, nobody to track them, no tracking once they get here. They're going to get dumped somewhere. They're going to be put into communities and cities around the country, just like they're doing with the illegals, and they're going to disappear. They're going to turn into chameleons, just like the others that have attacked us from within. And it's only a matter of time before they start doing here what they're doing over there.
Bernie, if I went back in time to, September 12th, 2001, and told you this was going to play out in August and September of 2021, what would you have said?
You know what, John, the horrendous thing for me is, I think for me and Mayor Giuliani, the night that we went into Afghanistan, I was on the way to a Yankee game. I think it was October 7th of 2001. I was just leaving my house to meet the mayor at a Yankee game, and he called me and said, President Bush just called. We're doing it tonight. And it meant we're going into Afghanistan, just like President Bush said. We're going to hold the people accountable that attacked us. For me to watch what's going on today, after having received one of those first phone calls from President Bush, it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
The other thing too, Bernie, is I'm seeing video as well of the remnants of the Northern Alliance, which is where, those were our first allies in Afghanistan. And, they're still trying to mount a defense against the Taliban. There are still groups in northern Afghanistan, the Northern Alliance, that are fighting back against the Taliban. They fight back against ISIS. They were the people that the Reagan administration worked with when they were trying to oust the Soviets from that area as well. And here we are again, 20 years later, those same people are now left basically to themselves to defend themselves against ISIS-K, Al-Qaeda, which is still prevalent or still existent in Afghanistan, and the Taliban as well.
And you know what's going to happen, John? Just like the American government has done in other cases, they're going to leave them there. They're going to abandon them. And they're going to prove to the international community. I have to tell you, if I was the leadership in France and the UK right now, I'd never deal with the United States of America again. Never.
Yeah,
because we've lied, we've abandoned people, we've backstabbed them. And this administration has done worse than any administration I've ever seen. Yeah. Look, I didn't like the Obama administration. This administration puts them to shame.
Well, there's a lot of carryover from the Obama administration in terms of personnel working on their foreign policy, and unfortunately, you see some of the same problems, but only on a bigger scale now. Bernie Kerik, thank you so much. It's just heart-wrenching to hear you talk about 9/11 now, and here 20 years later, everything's come full circle. Bernie Kerik, thank you so much. Thanks for everything you do. We always appreciate it, Bernie. Thanks so much.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.